Welcome back to the show. I'm smoking my pipe again. There's a reason for smoking my pipe, and by the way, if you see smoke coming from over there, the lovely Julia, my partner, who also is indulging in a pipe, is smoking her pipe. I don't know, yeah, kind of came in then. And the reason I'm smoking my pipe is because it's something pleasurable to do, and I enjoy it. And I think this is something that I want to talk about in today's somewhat philosophical discussion, or monologue as the lovely Julia calls these. And that is because the question I want to ask is, are we becoming too consumed, particularly those of us who, well, the audience who watch this sort of stuff will be watching all the other myriad of truth, freedom, what's going on in the world, exposing the terrible atrocities and all of that kind of content. And it made me wonder, are we too concerned? I mean, obviously we've got to be concerned with what's going on in the world to a degree, where it's going to affect us and our families. But are we so absorbed with that we forget to live? And then the question is, well, what does that mean, living? What is that living? What is that state? Is it, as we've been told and led to believe, going to work 9 to 5 to earn money for somebody else to get rich so that we can manufacture products that the big vast majority are consuming? And is that what life is all about? We've seen how in the last, 150 years, I suppose, and perhaps during the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, that consuming seems to be the Nevada of life. Nirvana, I think it is. Is it Nirvana? Yeah, I'm getting a nod from over at the lovely Julia. And yet, many of us, I think, are beginning to realise that actually there's a hell of a lot more to life than just working, than just going on for so many years until you get to 65 or 70, whatever the retirement age is, at which point you're supposed to then have your golden years and you can do stuff. You've earned the ticket. When you're 65, 70, your body is a bit more decrepit, you're older, you can't sit up because you've been working for 40, 50 years in an industry that may or may not have been beneficial to your body. And so by the end of it, you know, you're so poisoned with all the toxins and all the nasties in the world, you can't actually do anything. And maybe we should be doing those things now. And obviously there's the question of money and how we afford it, and we've got to bring up the children. And so my question really is, I suppose, just that. Are we so consumed with the horrors that's coming down the line, the 5G, the fluoridation in the water, the heavy metals, the EMFs, the one world government, the 15-minute cities? I mean, when do you want me to stop? There are so many things of us to think about, the digital ID, the CBDCs. I mean, it just goes on and on. Are we so consumed running from this one to that one and exposed, trying to get the rest of the public who generally, you know, the ones that we say are sheeples, or the ones that we say are not awake yet, the ones that have maybe lined up and taken a certain medical intervention, those people, they seem to be getting on with their lives. But actually, when you think about what is it their lives are they still in this old paradigm of the 9 to 5, going to work, trying to buy a house, bringing up your children, and then consuming as much as you can? And so I feel that we are at this very important pivotal moment. Yes, you've got the dark forces, the parasites who are trying to push us into oblivion or into some horrible dystopian state. Yes, you've got those people who are doing that. And then you've got the other side who are just happy to carry on consuming with in a material world in which they've got to try and buy things to be up with the Joneses and continually have the latest technology or the latest this and the latest that, so that they feel they've actually achieved something and that life has meaning. And then somewhere in the middle of these sort of extremes, from the ones that are trying to push us into a virtual world where we're stuck at home, and the ones that still just want to keep buying bits and bobs and all of that, somewhere in between that, you've got this slowly growing group. And I think it is growing. I think it is this growing group who actually are beginning to think, hold on a second, what is life really about? Why are we here? Who are we really? Are we here just to do that life? Are we here to go and do that version of life? Or is there more? Is there something spiritual? Is there something that less is more? That not just being an environmentalist and looking after the planet and all those sort of things, which then become in and of itself a business, but actually being, excuse me, itchy nose. Always have an itchy nose when I'm filming, isn't it strange? Being happy with your own state, being close to your family and your friends, providing something for each other, doing, in a way, quite little, growing your own food, trading with your friends and neighbours, becoming more with nature. There is that sort of something about what life really is. You are being symbiotic with the planet. You're connected, rooted to a living sphere, or whatever it may be. This 3D, 4D, 5D, who knows what it really is. People tell us all sorts of things. But what do we really know about it? What's our inner thinking, our spiritual awakening? I think there is this, I don't want to call it a movement. I don't want to call it an awakening, an awareness, I suppose. An awareness that there is more to life than the two extremes, and that for each individual, it is a unique experience, that it's something that no one else can tell you how you should live or what you should feel or what is important, but that somewhere deep in you, it's expressing itself. And because of all the noise everywhere, and you know, people like me are just as responsible for producing noise of shock, horror, look at this, what's going on over there, and oh my goodness, our attention should be over here, and aren't we supposed to be, you know, lawful and fight the legal battle, or don't take a certain medical intervention. You know, we're providing all that noise. We don't spend enough time actually thinking, what is this about? Who am I? Where am I going? What intrinsically is important? And all the time we're distracted with all of this, we'll never really find out, in my humble opinion, what actually life is all about, and what our experience here should be full of. Now, I have no idea if any of that made any sense to you. It's a noisy pipe, this one. Well, this one was given to me by one of my viewers, and thank you very much for it. It's very appreciated. I've had a series of pipes. I'm going to make another pipe smoking video on my Vogue Show channel soon. But for me, one of the most intrinsic, where are you? One of the most intrinsic benefits of being alive is actually sitting, thinking, meditating, reading, pontificating, smoking my pipe, spending time with my partner, the lovely Julia, reading books to one another, having a very simple life and not being distracted by all the nonsense of war and the nonsense of debt and the nonsense of buying stuff. Just a very plain and simple, practical, but somehow engaging and spiritual life. Yours may be totally different, but are you spending any time at all trying to find what the meaning of life is for you?